Hi guys, my name's Andrea Almanza, and the name of my lesson is called Texas Oil. The demographic most suitable for my lesson plan would be seventh grade social studies. So, um, the learning objective of this lesson is for students to interpret the ways that physical processes change places. So this is exemplified by being able to describe and explain how the introduction of the oil industry changed the characteristics of Texas. So, with this being said, students will listen and explain how the discovery of oil in Texas led to the establishment of not only transportation, how rural areas grew into cities because of heavy population increase, and the establishment of new jobs through maps, graphs, and charts. The relevant standard, so the TEK for my lesson plan is 7.7a, history. The student understands how individuals, events, and issues shape the history of Texas during the 19th, 20th, and the 21st century. So the students are expected to explain how the oil industry led to the industrialization of Texas. Um, in my lesson, students, they're going to be asked to explain the oil industry, the location in which it was founded, and how it led to the physical changes in Texas by discussing the establishment of railroad transportation by looking at data from the 20th and 21st century, connections on which type of jobs were created from the oil boom. My lesson facilitates students' learning by providing them with the foundation in the origins of oil in Texas, which then led up to the changes that occurred to the physical changes that occurred due to the immense impact it had. So I'm going to be doing this by including maps, graphs, and charts, and just kind of putting an emphasis into them. The students will have everything needed to ask geographical, geographic questions, acquire geographic information, organize the geographic information. So in my lesson, I created a PowerPoint to better help facilitate the material to the whole class. So in my PowerPoint, we discuss how did the Texas oil industry begin? Once we get into there, we start off with the chart with a bunch of information. We have when it first started, when it was first located in Texas. Then we move into the first economically significant discovery, which was in 1894. However, it wouldn't be until 1901 with the discovery of Spindletop with that really impacted Texas economy. So we're going to move into talking more about Spindletop. I even have a video linked. So if students who don't really learn well from how I'm explaining it, they have a different video to kind of go off of. Um, we're gonna move into how do oil wells remain today? So moving into this slide, oil wells in Texas today, I included two maps. Early oil fields in Texas, and then another map of modern oil wells in Texas today. And so I'll just introduce these maps and make sure to make a huge emphasis on them and introduce them into how they work and what they mean, kind of. And this one has this map down here, sorry, has a key. It has a key to the map and how to read it, so I'll make sure to discuss that with my students. And then moving into the next slide is how did the boom of the oil industry change physical characteristics of Texas? That's when we're going to be talking more about with oil came coal, the transportation, kind of like how railroad expansion came into Texas because there wasn't any of that before oil. Um, we'll talk about boom towns and how it kind of led to the development of urban cities. So it went from rural to urban. We had really big cities like Spindletop, for example. We have Houston. Um, what jobs came with the oil boom in Texas, so that we're going to have a description right under it, kind of go into discussion about it. And yeah, have I'll make sure to put a huge emphasis in boom towns and make sure to accurately describe the map on here as well. So in my lesson, I plan to put a huge emphasis on maps, and I plan to do this specifically in the part where I talk about new and old oil wells in Texas, um, as well as the maps in the boomtown, in the increasingly large, in the increasing boom towns in Texas, which happened because of the immense amount of oil and how it affected the economy, and so. I plan to do that and to facilitate students newly acquired use of them because some of them may have used graphs before, some of them may have not. And so in my assessment for the lesson, actually, I included a section where we're going to be talking about we're going to be utilizing a map, and I'm going to ask students to kind of locate where the city of the oil well that I talked most about in class discussion. So I'm going to be asking them that to kind of assess their knowledge on maps. Then I'm going to have a follow-up question that kind of like discusses why the oil field in this location is important. Um but yeah.